So now we're on to fan favorites of Shout Outs and Rants. So, Matt Kelly, do you have a rant and or shout out for us today?
Tom, I'm just going to keep it light with a shout out to People magazine for naming Paul Rudd the sexiest man alive. Personally, I think he is an excellent actor. I look forward to when he wins an Oscar for Ant-Man 3 coming out in 2023. And he seems like a genuinely nice, down-to-earth guy. Never mind the fact that he seems to also be some sort of divine being who does not age, but that clearly is the case. As to being the sexiest man alive, I have asked several different women all week long, is that really true that he is the sexiest man alive? They have all looked at me like I've had 3 heads for even thinking, why would you ask that question? Of course he is. And I'm not sure if it's because they all think he's sexy or they think that he's just an awesome guy or some blend of the two. But the more accolades we can put on Paul Rudd, the better. So I hope he enjoys his year of fame.
Could be. Could be. So, Karen, that's some big shoes to follow on. What do you have for us today?
Well, I'm going to keep it light as well and stay in the pop culture type vein. And I'm going to give a shout out to something I've already alluded to, which is the HBO show Succession. Very different than the last time I gave a shout out to a show, which was Ted Lasso. That's a very different genre of show. But Succession, I mean, I think should be mandatory viewing for everyone who's in a business associations class, a securities regulation class. I mean, it's intense, but it is, I think, a very interesting snapshot into a fairly despicable group of people. But how, major companies are run and some of the challenges they face.
So, Jay Rosen, what do you have for us today?
I have a shout out to OBS, Odell Beckham Sr., and this goes to any parent whose kids participate in paid or non-paid sports. If you're not getting enough balls thrown your way, take it to Instagram, get yourself traded, and go to Tinseltown and join the Rams. So now, if the Rams do not win the Super Bowl with OBJ, whose fault is it now? Back to you, Tom.
Jonathan Armstrong, will you be shouting out or ranting today?
Yeah, a bit of both, and I'm staying in pop culture too, with the connection between the singer Duffy and Dr. Ruja Ignatova. So, well, what might be the connection, you say? Well, Duffy had a fire at her penthouse, and she sold it to Dr. Ruja for, or somebody sold it. There's no suspicion of wrongdoing on Duffy's behalf, for 13.5 million sterling to Dr. Ruja. And Dr. Ruja also bought the flat downstairs to keep her shoes in and to have somewhere for her maid to live. So who is Dr. Ruja, you might ask? Well, she's one of the first Bitcoin millionaires. She launched a Bitcoin operation called OneCoin, which she called a Bitcoin killer. But the really great thing about Dr. Ruja is she managed to sort of take 2 of the oldest scams going, pyramid selling and Ponzi schemes, and unite them with Bitcoin, because nobody really understands Bitcoin investments. And she went along and she did road shows and great events. She had her multi-level marketing, pyramid selling team who would get people to buy in. And the trial started in Germany of 3 associates in September, and that's how we now know about the penthouse. There's a US law firm answering very awkward questions as we speak about that transaction. It is thought that 4 billion, that's with a B, 4 billion euros has gone missing, and Dr. Ruja has gone missing as well. She left 2 Andy Warhol pictures in the apartment, so no doubt they'll be trying to reduce that 4 billion euros deficit by selling them. But it's certainly a no mercy case, and the court are likely to rain on her parade if they catch up with her.
So, Jonathan Marks, our resident curmudgeon, what do you have for us this week?
I'm going to go back to the hospitality industry again because I had a chance to travel this past week. So it's sort of a mystery or life question for me. And that is when you check into a hotel room and you go to the front desk, you check into a hotel and you go to the front desk and they give you your key, and then you walk, I don't know, 2 or 3 miles with all the crap that you lug across the world, and you get to your room, you put your key in the door and you open it up and you walk in and you find a man and a woman sleeping in your bed. So, we talk about internal controls, hey, hospitality industry, if somebody's in room 1730 and you give me that same room, that's a real problem. Wake up, smell the coffee. Oh, that's right, you don't give coffee out anymore because of COVID.
So I will step in with my shout out, and I'm going to go in a completely different direction. It is not lighthearted. It is something very serious. And that's the fine delivered by the National Football League to CeeDee Lamb. Now, what was Mr. Lamb's transgression? Mr. Lamb played a football game with his shirt tail out. And for the fashion police on this call, and for you listeners, you should see the outfits these guys and gal have on. They are true fashionistas. This is just unacceptable behavior. $15,400 slapped on CeeDee Lamb. I am so proud of the NFL. And if you contrast that with the fine leveled on Aaron Rodgers for exposing people to COVID-19 because he was immunized but not vaccinated, it was only $14,500. So I'm glad the NFL fashion police have stepped forward. Keep your shirt tail tucked in. It's an important issue, and it's something that every American needs to be not only aware of but proud of from the NFL. So thank you, NFL, for having your priorities straight.